We are built for this network, for the strong, not the weak.
It's official. Style Guys is trending for the holiday season. Located 1252 Burnham Ave in Calumet City. Being black owned and operated with new items weekly in store and even online. And with over 50,000 followers online, you can't miss out. Sales going on till 2022. Like jogging suits, hoodies, t-shirts, Jordan Craig, smoke rise, crisp, sweaters, and so much more. So beat the lines and order online from Style Guys, 1252 Burnham Ave in Calumet City. Contact them today at 708-801-9481. Again, 708-801-9481. Or check them out from Tuesday to Saturday from noon to 7 p.m. or Sundays from noon to 5 p.m. Style Guys, 1252 Burnham Ave in Calumet City. Life, fashion, style. Follow some of the newest styles by Style Guys in Calumet City. Lock in The Style Guys on IG or look them up, thestyleguys.com. Gone wild. No escaping this. 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 No escaping this.
No one's ready to deal with us.
No escaping this. No escaping this. No escape.
No one's ready to deal with us.
No escaping this. No escaping this. No escape.
No one's ready to deal with us.
No escaping this. No escaping this. No escape.
No one's ready to deal with us.
You are listening to the End of the Bench podcast on Built for This Network, hosted by my man, HRap.
Good evening, good evening, good evening. This is your man HRap coming at you live and direct. This is on Built for This Network. I am HRap. This is the End of the Bench podcast. Thank you for tuning in as usual. You know how we do this every week. Every week I acknowledge this is a podcast. What does that mean? That means it's on-demand entertainment. That means it's happening now, but you can watch it 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, anytime you want to. You can go to Spreaker.com, look up Built for This Network. Built for This Network. You can go to Spreaker.com, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Castbox, Deezer, Amazon Podcasts, and Podcast Addict. Thank you for tuning in. It's going to be an interesting show. It's going to be interesting. But before it becomes interesting, what I'm going to do is acknowledge my family like I do every week. Every time you see me on air, I acknowledge my family, my relatives, whether they be ancestral or here in the physical form. That's everybody connected to the Whitmore, Pollard, Turner, Battle, Cotton, Harper, Bailey, Shaw, Walker, Thompson, Chris, Lansdowne, Ligon, Duncan, Turner, Battle, Brandy, Brandon, Duncan, said Duncan twice again as I do every week, Wilson, Johnson, and you know the Williams clan. We're always in the building. Thank you very much. I have a very special guest, person who is near and dear to my heart. As you know, the series is called Rapping with HRap. And what I do is I highlight the people who are our elders, because for whatever reason we got out of the way of acknowledging our elders, sitting at the feet of our elders, acknowledging that their experiences help build us. Everything that is a part of our ancestors is a part of us. I am only here because of Dolores and John and their parents and so forth and so on. So everything in those people are inside of me and inside of my children and my children's children and so forth and so on. So what we're going to do is we're going to regalvanize the black community. The African community has been fractured at a minimum since 1968, the assassination of our ancestor, the great Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. So what we're going to do here at the end of the bench is reconnect. Remember. We're going to talk about memories. We're going to remember. We have been dismembered. Now we're going to remember what's going on in our community. We're going to talk about the past, and we're going to talk about life experiences. Nothing special, nothing spectacular, but we are and will enjoy conversations like they used to do back in the day before you had Twitter, Instagram, and all that madness. We had to talk to our family members, understand their pain and sorrow, and embrace their joys. That way we can do like the Sankofa bird. The bird has an egg in its mouth. It is looking backward. That's letting you know the egg represents the past. Looking back, acknowledging the past, and the body is moving forward. We are today, will be the body. And today is one of my favorite people in the history of the world. This is my uncle in the background and my aunt, Rita.
In person.
Yeah, it's good to see you. What's up, B? What's happening? What we gonna do, man, today, as I stated in the preamble, one second. Thank you, Alfred. I got help, you know. This podcast ain't working for you, boy. But what we're going to do is we're going to talk about life. One of the things that drew you near and dear to me is you would always tell me about when you and my mom, for those who don't know my Aunt Rita, this is my mother's youngest sister. And Rita, your mother's only sister. Rita has always had a special place in my heart because I'm her first nephew, and it was me and her a lot of the time. So she treated me special, and I felt special. My Uncle Theodis, I don't know life without my Uncle Theodis and my Aunt Rita. And they always made me feel like I was a big deal. My Uncle Theodis used to take me down to the McVicker in the Chicago theater to see kung fu movies. He'd hang out with me all day long. And my Aunt Rita used to cook for me, and she used to make this one egg omelet. She probably don't even remember. She probably made it 10 million times, but I always felt like she was making it for me. So with that being said, I couldn't have this show without having my aunt and my uncle on here because, like I told y'all, man, we are going to remember. Our community has been dismembered. I don't know anything really about my Uncle Theodis. I just know my life with my Uncle Theodis. I don't know a lot about my Aunt Rita. I just know my life with my Aunt Rita. But guess what? They lived a whole generation and didn't even know it was a person named Brian on the way. So tonight, we are going to talk about their lives and the good times and the fun times and the things that none of us who are younger than me and in my age even know existed. And as I start off every show, I say, hey, let me have your oldest and most fond memory, and we'll go from there.
I'm thinking my oldest memory is grammar school.
Okay.
Going to
Gladstone. Where you meet Gladstone Elementary, our community elementary school.
Right. Going to Gladstone and still being around the same people that went to school with me.
Oh.
So, and we always say, the people that I went to school with, we always say we were the village that helped to raise nephews like you and all of the other younger people in the neighborhood. So
Indeed.
that was a fond memory for me. We were like family, period. I could go to anybody's house and I could say, I'm hungry. I'm going to get a full meal. They're not going to say, why don't you go home and eat? They're not going to say, we don't have it. If they eating peanut butter and jelly and I say I'm hungry, I'm eating peanut butter and jelly. So that was a really good memory for me. Just being with the same people. We all grew up together. We all became parents together.
Indeed.
We all became grandparents together.
Indeed. Indeed.
You know, it was just a nice time.
Yeah.
And it was calm. It was a calmer time as well.
Mm.
You know, we didn't have to look back and hear gunshots every 5 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't have to think that we couldn't walk. We could walk down the street at midnight, women, and nobody would touch us. You know, so that it was just a calmer, more a better time. Might as well say a better time.
Most definitely, it was one of the greatest neighborhoods. I've had the pleasure of being raised in two communities like that. You know, when we left the neighborhood, I always call it home base. 1655 West Hastings is home base.
That's right.
When we left home base, we moved to 1442 North Sedgwick, and I had the blessing to be born, reborn into another community that was exactly like ours, and the exact same things happened. And and I speak about our families, and on a regular basis on my programs. I have a program on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays. This program, and I have a new program coming out Wednesday. Me and BJ, and we're gonna talk about the life from the perspective of a 28-year-old man named B, and a 51-year-old man named B. So, and then I tell the people on a regular basis about Chicago and how, we had gang issues in Chicago, we had drug issues in Chicago, but one of the blessings of being from home base on Hastings Street is at this point in 1970 we were neighbors. When I got there, we were neighbors and friends. In 2022, due to childbirth and marriage, we're all actually legally family. About 85% of us are legally family. What are some of the things about Gladstone you think set Gladstone apart from any other school in the community, or some just because the people at Gladstone, they created a Facebook page, and like you said, all you have to do is say, we are having a softball game, and it will be 200 people at a softball game, a random softball game, not an organized function. It's just, hey, and people, and 50 of those people showing up with grills and things of that nature. What's so special about Gladstone that you think brings that out about people?
The teaching structure.
Okay.
The teachers and we didn't like it at the time. The principal, they all cared about the kids.
Mm.
It was not I'm going to get paid regardless of whether you come to school or not.
Mm-hmm.
We had what you call those people, truant officers.
Mm-hmm.
We had truant officers. If you missed a day or two at most, a truant officer's coming to your house and ask what's going on. You know, if you came to class and you even looked hungry, the teacher noticed that.
Mm.
It wasn't like you're a number. You are somebody that this teacher is going to know for an entire year or more. And not only did they nurture us in the daytime, they could see us at the store, at the movies, anywhere, and they would still know us, still treat us like people. They loved us just as much as they loved their family, as far as I'm concerned.
Mm.
So that's what, and when somebody is teaching you like that, you tend to pick up on that as well.
Mm.
I believe that's how come we became a village, because everybody in our neighborhood still know each other, still come and see about each other. God forbid if I got sick and it was told, Rita's sick, I'm going to get so many people coming to the house, because I do the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
When I hear somebody is sick that I knew I grew up with, whether they're family or not, I'm going to see about it.
And you know what? I experienced that because, like again, I came at the tail end of it, and I always tell people when they watch my show, I felt like a perpetual middle child, because everybody was 5 to 7 years older than me, or Chris and Punk and them came 5 to 7 years after me. So I was right there in the middle. But one of the blessings I got was having Aunt Harriet as a
That's
school
right.
teacher.
That's right.
And Harriet had friends at the school. And I've told people on several occasions I might have been the dumbest kid in the history of Gladstone, with a grandmother on the north side of the street and the grandmama on the south side of the school, and still cutting the fool in the school.
You like the fool?
And your aunt is friends with every teacher in the school. But yeah, but I can definitely identify with that because like I said, Miss Johnson was Phyllis' teacher. Miss Lewis was Phyllis' teacher. Miss Adams was a bold teacher. Mr. Gardner was Phyllis' teacher. Lynn was in Mr. Nowak class. Everybody knew everybody, to the point to whereas I remember my very first day of 7th grade, and Miss Adams walked up to me and poked me in the nose. She says, "You the last of them, and I'm gonna get you. I've heard about you, and there will be no clowning. I know your mother. It'll be no clowning in my class." I was like, yeah, you better call her because it's going down. I felt like on the Cosby Show. Challenge. Yeah, but yeah.
And Miss Adams still talking to everybody now.
Yes, Miss Adams is friends with.
Still talking to the village now.
Yes.
She was my teacher, your teacher, on down, and she's still talking to the village.
And that was
So it's
yes.
like that.
And
I
that's,
got something I want to share with you if I can.
hey, you can share. Hey, this your night.
Okay, because you're talking about family and your roots. I don't know if you know some of this information, so I wanted to give you some information about your roots, just like you expect other people to come onto your show and give information about their roots. I want to give you some information about your roots. Do you have time?
Do you have time?
Now, listen to this. The first thing you said when you started the show was you wanted to give honor to the Whitmores. Well,
Okay.
they are the beginning of our family as we know it. So I want to tell you a little bit about them, okay?
Okay.
Okay. It says, the story goes that 2 out of 3 brothers owned as slaves by a Tennessee slave owner having the last name of Whitmore took the name of Whitmore following the issuing of the Emancipation Proclamation by President Lincoln, which was supposed to free the enslaved African people living in the United States. The third brother took the name of either Hendricks or Kendricks and moved to Oklahoma. Okay. 2 brothers with the last name of Whitmore settled in Arkansas with their sister Fanny, who married a man with the last name of Whitmore as well. No kin, but
Right.
a different Whitmore. Probably out of the same slave group.
Right.
Of the 2 brothers, this Whitmore family came from the brother known as Joseph Whitmore. He was called Grandpa by family members. He was born in 1835 in Arkadelphia, Arkansas. I never heard of that until now. And died in 1944-45 in Humphrey, Arkansas at the age of 105 years old. Now this is your roots. He was a slave and a mixed Native American. His father and mother were both slaves, and his father was named Charlie. Grandpa was married to Millie, who was from Chattanooga, Tennessee. Okay? His siblings were Fanny, his sister, Dennis Whitmore, a brother, and Eddie Hendricks or Kendricks, whichever name he took. The following children were born to Grandpa and Millie in Center Point, Arkansas. Ready?
Yep.
Mary Whitmore completed high school in Arkadelphia, Arkansas, and became a teacher. She never married. William Whitmore was a son. Charlie Clinton Whitmore Sr., born 1879 and transitioned 1948, was a barber. Okay? He also owned a hamburger stand, a pool parlor, and a shoe shine
I know, not ours.
Yeah. Who gave birth to Martha Whitmore. Okay. What do you think about that so far?
Love
Going
it.
to my
Love
next
it.
page, like
And you know what? And this is a perfect example why I'm doing this, because to be perfectly honest with you, me and you've had these conversations, and I've never wanted a job, and this explains it. Epigenetically, it's just not in me to work for somebody, and I've always been a person who looked for independence. I've always been a person who did not want uh, 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 to just get up and go to work. So this helps me understand who I am. And again, this is the whole purpose of this conversation. It's just I need my people to understand that, hey, the only way you going to get to know who you really are is to know where you come from. That's the whole concept of Sankofa, and people don't recognize this, but it's here every day, all day.
And your ancestors were entrepreneurs, teachers. They worked hard. They just wasn't just running around. But let me tell you this last part.
Okay.
We who live in Illinois and Wisconsin, that's where the Whitmores basically are in Illinois and Wisconsin.
Right.
We trace our genealogy back to Charles Clinton Whitmore Sr., who married Alberta Beatrice Hardin. Now, Alberta Beatrice Hardin is your great-great-great-grandmother. Okay? Maybe four. I think four greats grandmother. And they got married in Cotton Plant, Arkansas. She was known as Mama Whitmore.
I've heard of her.
Right. She was known as Mama Whitmore. And he was known as Papa Whitmore. Not Daddy Whitmore. Papa Whitmore. Okay? From this union was born the following children: Georgia, Theodore, Daddy Whitmore.
Right.
My
grandfather. My grandfather, yeah.
Married Esther, and they had 8 children: Myrtle, Addie, Alberta, known as Sweetie Pie. She was born in 1908. Daddy Whitmore was born in 1904.
Right.
Georgia was born in 1902. Okay. Then Charles Clinton Jr. was born in 1910. He married Louise McClure. Now, those are Louise McClure, and remember our mechanic?
Bruh.
His last name is McClure.
Oh, wow. I did not know that.
Right, exactly. Well, we were with family and didn't even know it.
Wow. I would have never guessed that.
Right, exactly.
I'd have never guessed
Another
that.
brother named Theodric, a brother named Reuben, and who else? Another brother named Alvin, and another
I've heard of Alvin.
Yeah, Uncle Alvin was the last one to pass away.
Right, because they went and got him from Arkansas, moved him up to Milwaukee. I remember him.
And Addie Beatrice. They used to call her Addie B. And Mama Whitmore had one more child. I'm thinking was stillborn. That's
Okay.
I don't know what they called it back then, but I'm thinking right now it was a stillborn child. Of the 10 children born to Papa and Mama Whitmore, 6 were born in Cotton Plant, Arkansas, namely Georgia, Theodore, Myrtle, Addie, Alberta, Charles C., and Theodric. In addition, the last 4 children were Reuben, Alvin, Addie B., and the last child was born in Wynn. Alvin Whitmore.
Tall, slim guy. I remember him.
He lived to be 95.
Yeah, I remember him.
And then it says, this information came from different sources and was put together. I wanted to get this information because I'm so happy that you're doing what you're doing right now, but I'm going to take this information and I'm going to keep looking along with our cousins,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and we're gonna write a book.
That's awesome. I'm down. And you know what? To make it even easier for you, what we can do is this. We can do the 23andMe thing. 23andMe gives you 1,500 people who've attempted to do what you're doing. Like 23andMe is a network, and with that network, what they do is this: they swab your mouth, they take your DNA, and they put it into their system. Their system connects you to 1,500 people immediately that have the same DNA as you, and they tell you how close the relatives are. After speaking with our cousin Bonnie and Pudgy a couple weeks ago, I found out that I found out, speaking to Harriet, that we do have relatives. Just to show you how small the world is, we may be kidding the bruh, but at the same time, simultaneously, we're looking at a situation to whereas we may be kidding the bruh, but my friend, the greatest, he gonna be on the show in a couple weeks. He just told me, he heard me and Bonnie mention that if you're dark skinned, you might be a cotton. And if you light skinned, a cotton or a pollard. Or if you light skinned, you might be a Whitmore. And my buddy the greatest called me after that, and he was like, "Hey man, my family just married somebody with the last name Whitmore, and they're light skinned from Arkansas."
Oh my God! See.
So yeah. See, so.
But you know what? When I heard that, I wasn't on the line when you was talking to Lavelle.
Mm-hmm.
But I heard that you guys had a good time. But I want you to invite him back so he can talk about something that was extremely interesting to me. So write this down so the next time you talk to him, you can get. I want him to tell you about his dad being a Buffalo Soldier.
And you know what's that's
Write
funny?
that up.
Okay, will do. That's awesome. That's awesome. That's historic right there. And the funny thing is this. Up until that episode, I didn't know how Pudgy was related to us. I'm looking at Pudgy going, he's either a pollard, because he's dark, or a cotton. And I'm like, and I had to ask him, I say, Pudgy, man, how are you related to me, man? I had no idea. All these years, I thought Uncle Elmer was cool. I thought Pudgy was cool. I had no idea that Uncle Elmer was Pudgy's daddy.
See, oh, that's sad.
I had no idea. I'm like, hey, man, how you kidding me, man? And he was like, oh, yeah, my dad. And then to find out Uncle Elmer's a Buffalo Soldier. That is something that, again, when you look at these things, you really don't pay attention to them, and it's nothing. You see them in the history books and things of that nature, and you go, wow, yeah, that's cool. And to find out that somebody that was as close to me that I've actually touched them before.
Exactly. Because when I found out that, I was like, what?
Yeah,
that was
yeah.
like exciting to me. And I'm thinking that what you're doing will draw our family together to ask more questions.
Yeah, that's the point.
And it'll draw other families together so that they can ask questions.
Exactly.
Because a lot of the things that are going on right now, Brian, is because we don't know who we are.
Facts.
We don't know who we are. Now, back in the day, we didn't know who we were either. But we had people that would get on TV. We had singers that would sing it. Say it loud. I'm black and I'm proud. We didn't have to sit back and look crazy. We could join in and realize, like Jesse Jackson say, I am somebody.
Right.
But that resonated with us. We don't have nobody saying that today.
Well, you know what, Rita? I would slightly disagree. It's a system that's stopping that because, like, you're not really into the rap culture. That's not really your age group. But what it is a lot of these people, like, and even though she sings, and Solange, Beyonce's sister, sings, they still are considered part of hip hop culture.
Okay.
Hip hop is a real fancy way of saying black folks at this point. You know how when you came up, soul music was saying black music.
Right.
That soul has turned into hip hop culture. And what it is the system that is in front of us won't allow Solange to talk about how much she loved black men and how she's a proud black woman. And if you listen to Solange's album, it will blow your mind. And if you listen to Erykah Badu's album, where she talking about being proud of being who she are, being a strong, powerful sister, and how she got the brothers back, they won't play that on the radio. So it makes it seem like it's nobody saying it anymore.
It sure does then. You're right. It does, because what I hear is negativity.
Yes.
That's what I hear. And if I hear it, then I know the younger people are hearing it too.
Right.
And if these I see these young babies walking around, they can sing those songs word for word. And the songs that they can sing for word is, with the B word, with the N word, with the, my this, my that. Do this to me, do that to me. And that's
madness. Madness. Say it.
I can't, and we had songs back in the day that probably was saying the same things, but those songs were R-rated and all that. Only your parents could listen to that kind of music. Only your parents didn't allow you to listen to that type of music. And now it doesn't matter who listens to that type of music.
Yeah. I could definitely relate. I can remember when I was teaching BJ how to drive. And me, Nikki, BJ, at the time we were only 3 drivers. Bria wasn't old enough yet. But I can remember being a driver, and we had a rule: whoever driving, that's what we listening to. Because they didn't like to listen to sports talk. I'm like, hey, well, you need to drive.
Exactly.
And one day, me and BJ was driving up Grand Avenue. We were going northwest. And I heard, stick it in here, in the butt. I say, man, turn that mess off, man. I say, man, put the radio on, man. He said, that is the radio. And I'm like, wow.
That's what I mean.
Yeah, it's just, it's absurd, it's ridiculous, and all that. But it's people out there in this new generation that are really making, they making music that people of your generation would definitely be proud of. Trust me.
I'm glad.
Yep.
And I really want to hear it. I really want to hear it, because when I start to even hear a rap song, now they have really nice, not the lyrics, but the music.
The melodies.
Yeah, that sounds good. But then if I sit there and I listen to what they're saying, it's like, okay, I'm through. Stop. Cut it off. I'm done. And I don't think it should be like that.
Yeah, it should.
Kids know more about rap than they do their schoolwork.
That's another thing. And this is another reason that's good that we remembering. Like I said, we were dismembered and now we're remembering. And one of the tenets of hip hop culture is to teach.
Okay.
You got guys out there, like it's this dude, I remember playing this dude named Pharoah Monch's album. And his album is called PTSD.
Okay.
And this dude who was a Vietnam vet walked past, listened to, and heard what I was playing. He was like, that guy been to war. He understands us. This dude my age, Rita, he ain't been to no Vietnam. And Pharoah Monch might be a year younger than me. So it's just, we dealing with a situation, and this is the very reason I started this series, because we're living in a situation to whereas it is a disconnect. I remember sitting on your porch at 4210, and you was killing rap. And I say, no, Rita, you just got to listen. I said, you got to be aware of the slang. And then I taught you some of the slang. And I remember the guy who song you listened to, he was actually been on my show. He's a rapper named OC.
Okay.
And after I explained, he was like, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. But we don't listen to y'all. Our generation don't listen to y'all. My generation, the younger, don't listen to me. And that's what a disconnect is, because we haven't seen, we haven't sat down and talked.
That's true.
Man,
That's true.
we haven't, we don't. because everybody's in a hurry. Don't nobody care what you have to say. See, you don't understand. But back in the day, you didn't have an option. Once the elders start talking, shut up and sit down. Like, it's an African tradition that they call put a straw in your mouth. And if you would sit there and the only time you talk is when I say take the straw out your mouth. Now you can talk, now put it back in. In other words, you going to listen until I say you can talk. And it sounds harsh now, but it's the reality of the situation. Let's go back to Gladstone. What year were you in 8th grade?
I don't know. I don't know.
About.
Okay, let's go back. I graduated from high school in 74, 3, 2, 1, 70.
70, you graduated from high school. So you got to high school in 66. What you remember about 1966?
You said I got to high school in 66?
Yeah, you got to high school in 66.
I did. No, I didn't.
What year you get there?
69.
So you
Or 70.
okay? What do you? Well, let's just go ahead. I know you were young, and it's hard to remember back then. What do you remember about the 60s?
Having a good time.
Having a good time. Talk to me.
No, I remember my brother and my sister having a good time. Because my good time came in the 70s.
Oh, okay. Well, give me a little bit of the 60s. Give me a little bit of.
Because I was old enough to, I went to college in the 70s. You know, I was in high school in the 70s. That was just a good time.
Hey, hold on 1 second. Watch this. Well, I'm finna crack you up. Well, let me get a little bit of that Little Richard and Pumpy then.
Oh, wait. Oh. So, your mama. She actually, we grew up in the type of family, me, Richard, and your mother, we grew up in the type of family that when mama and daddy wasn't around, she was the head. We had to do exactly what she said when she said it. So, since both of them worked all day, especially like on the weekends, they worked all day long, and we really didn't see them until like 6 or 7, 8 o'clock at night. Then that means your mama was in charge of us from the time we woke up until
They got home.
our parents came home. So what I remember about her was she used to tell us what to do. Just work our nerves telling us what to do.
I'm familiar.
She used to tell us what to do. You go over here and you do this. You clean up the kitchen. You mop the floor. You know, like she was the supervisor and we was the workers. Just working. Might as well say on the floor, scrubbing the floors, and she's sitting back listening to music, chilling out.
I'm familiar with that too.
And then when she look at the clock, mom and daddy be home in about an hour. Now all of a sudden it's, get out of my way, I'm a cook, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. So when they walk through the door, who did all the work?
She did. I'm familiar with that too. This person goes by the name of Sky.
That's right. That's right. Texter.
Extraordinaire. But okay.
Beaver from the Himalaya coat.
Oh yeah, you know she got that beaver coat on right now.
In the house.
In the house. With,
But Ryan, it was just a good time back then. I mean, like I said, we was a village. Everybody sat outside, especially in the summertime. Everybody was outside in the summertime. The music was playing. It kind of reminded you of almost like a movie set. The music playing, the kids out playing. It looked like everybody on each
Mm-hmm.
He got a chance to play in the street. We was fortunate enough to live across the street from a playground.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So we got a chance to go to the playground and hang out. And, you know, everybody from the block go to the playground. We all meet. We either going to play baseball, we going to play volleyball, or basketball. And it was just a fun time. Period. We didn't have to worry about anything, Brian. These kids, and you know, we did a lot of staying outside, playing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know, now I give you that we didn't have Nintendo and PlayStation and all. We didn't have that. And so I guess the only thing we could do was go outside and play.
Mm-hmm.
But that helped us better than sitting in the house all day playing a video game. I mean, you know, we got a chance to connect with each other.
Mm.
We got a chance to have best friends.
Mm.
We got a chance to hang out. You know, if Brian mother let him go to the movies, then I'm gonna tell my mama, Brian can go to the movies. Can I go to the movies? Yeah, you can go, Brian. If Brian can go, you can go. You know, those type of things. And we had everything in our neighborhood.
Mm.
Remember the Strand?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And the Strand used to be a movie theater. And, you know, we could skate up and down the street. We could, the girls could hopscotch and double dutch and all of that stuff. It was just good times. We didn't even realize how good we had it until it was gone. And people used to say our neighborhood was the ghetto. We didn't know it.
Yeah, because I didn't know it. I mean, I remember being in the neighborhood, and
There
it
was
seemed,
somebody on the outside looking in talking about us.
Yeah.
We didn't know it. We just had fun. It was just good, clean fun. It was nobody afraid to, like I said, you could walk the street any time of day or night. You know, every once in a while, I mean, like years between incidents. You know, it might be an incident or two, but it was years in between it.
mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And let me tell you something about your great grandmother, my master. She used to go to church, and she was the one who taught all of us about going to church and about the Lord. And so she used to go to church, and she would walk from whatever church she went to. She would walk home because it was so many churches in the neighborhood. You know, you can go to anybody's church, and so she would go to church and she would walk home from church. So now think about this, Brian. From Roosevelt to Hastings, you walking south.
Right.
To get to the house, right? Okay. So here she comes down the street. So like I said, everybody in every house, everybody's sitting on their porch. And so we could see down Paulina almost to like 13th Street or something like that.
Probably Washburn.
Yeah, okay. From there on to the house, we could see who was walking, what was happening. So, I want to say like four of her aunts, four of my master kids, my mama and her
Sarah.
sisters were sitting on the porch. And so somebody noticed that she was coming down the street. So it was like, okay, we're going to keep holding our conversation, but we know my mama coming down the street. So they holding this conversation. So here, remember the house of rattan?
Mm-hmm.
The rattan furniture?
Yeah, yeah.
And then it was an alley right
Yeah.
there, right? So
On the left-hand side by Washburn.
Huh?
On the left-hand side by Washburn, by the train.
So she got to that alley, and somebody came behind her and tried to snatch her purse. Wrong move. She got kids sitting on her porch watching her come down the street. So whoever this was trying to snatch her purse
That's what's up.
That's your great grandma.
And the toughest thing I seen her do was go get me that cornbread so I can feed the birds.
But, I mean,
Wow.
And you know what? That just lets you know how God look out for his people.
Mm-hmm.
God look out for his kids. I never heard that lady say anything negative out
Not
of her
one
mouth.
thing. Not one thing.
I never heard her curse.
Not at all. Not at all.
Never.
I ain't never been around her when she raised her voice.
Me either. That's what I mean. I never heard that out of her. But when we seen her choking this man, we knew why.
Hey. Our my great grandmama was Tupac. I ain't no killer, but don't push me. I ain't no killer, but don't push me.
Man.
Okay. One of the things I remember at home base the most was you in them 45s.
Oh, believe it.
And you had all the jams. You introduced me to Bob Marley. We had, it looked like an end table, but it was really a component set. And it used to slide on out.
Yeah, the octagon table.
Yeah, the octagon table to slide on out. And you taught me how to stack the records up and play the records. You was like, these the ones I want you to play. And at first I was playing them one and one. And now you was like, no. Stack them on here and let them drop. Now, talk to me. I always hear about what's the name of the place? It's down the street from my house right now. Over here on Stony Island, the Regal.
Okay.
Talk to me about the Regal, because I hear Bonnie didn't have too many stories about the Regal, and Pudgy was from Michigan, so he ain't got too many stories about the Regal, but I know you got some Regal stories.
No, I don't. You know why? We don't have any real stories about the Regal. You know why?
Okay.
Because the Regal was on the south side.
Okay.
We were west siders.
Okay.
So it had to be somebody just real special
Okay.
coming to the Regal in order for the west side to meet the south side. Now, it wasn't a west. It wasn't if you're from the west side and you go to the south side, a fight gonna break out. It wasn't like that.
Okay.
It wasn't like that.
So I done heard these stories about these concerts y'all used to be at all day. With your boy there, the Godfather there. Talk to me.
You already know, don't you?
Yeah, let me hear about them Godfather stories.
You already know. Hanging out. Now, I'm gonna tell you something. Where we didn't have a Regal on the west side, but we had
The amphitheater.
Huh?
The amphitheater.
No, I'm not talking. No, you're talking about the stadium.
Oh, okay.
I'm not talking about the stadium.
Okay.
That's
Later on.
United Center now.
Yeah.
But back in the day, it was called the stadium. But now we went to just like the Southsiders went to the Regal. We did go to the stadium and we saw Earth, Wind and Fire and we saw James Brown and we saw all of those people. But a more intimate setting was where we went and skated. They used to have like the Jackson 5 was there.
The Strand?
Yeah, the Strand. So we had a little bit a smaller place,
Okay.
but we still saw people that were starting out. The Jackson 5 was at the Strand. I don't know if the Jackson 5 was at the Regal, but I know they was at the Strand. And like you said, when we wasn't at the Strand, a bigger person would come to the Regal. Come to the stadium, and we all, because we could walk. We literally could walk.
You can walk to the stadium. Yeah.
We could walk to the stadium. So like when Earth, Wind and Fire came, we was there, front row. We was there.
Tell me about the first time you saw your boy, the Godfather Soul. I know. I got to hear this.
Now, the first time I saw him,
Okay.
It took me a long time to see him in person because I wasn't that type of person that just run and go see everybody every time they come to town or whatever. So I wasn't that type of person. So, but the first time I paid attention to my main man, may he rest in peace. My main man, James Brown. I will hurt somebody about James Brown to this day. But anyway, he was on. I don't know if it was Soul Train or Big Bill Hill.
Okay.
Do you remember hearing about Big Bill Hill?
I remember hearing about Big Bill Hill, but I don't remember Big Bill
Okay,
Hill.
I don't know if it was either. It was one of those two. And just seeing him dance, that just took my breath away. I was like, "What you say?" And then when he made "Say It Loud, I'm Black and I'm Proud," you couldn't even tell me nothing after that.
But hold on, one second. I'm finna repeat something you said about an hour ago. Man, Brian, I don't know if I got nothing to talk about. 52 minutes and 57 seconds later. Talk to me. All right, I'm through. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. Say it loud, I'm Black and I'm Proud, baby. I listen to James Brown to this day. V103 on Sunday played James Brown at 3 o'clock. I'm listening to it. I got the James Brown movie with Black Panther.
Chadwick Boseman.
That's right. And he the best James Brown I ever seen, other than James Brown himself.
Okay.
I love that nigga.
Okay.
James Brown, Earth, Wind and Fire. Now when it comes to Earth, Wind and Fire, I'm like Steve Harvey. Steve Harvey, love him some Earth, Wind and Fire. I love Earth, Wind and Fire. I can listen to them all day. They just have a message in the music. James Brown had a message in his music, and I guess that might be what attracted me to singers and another thing that attracted me, Brian, is back then everybody had their own band. You wasn't getting on a stage and playing some background music and singing. You had your own band sitting back there, and they're gonna play until you get through. It was just like you see these people now. They dance. They got a lot of dancers nowadays that's up there dancing with them, but you don't really see who playing the music. You know what I mean? But back then it was less dancers, and the band was playing. So if James Brown gonna give you a 3-hour show. He gonna sing a little while. That band gonna play a little while. He gonna come back and sing. He gonna change clothes. He gonna come back and sing. You see what I'm saying? So you got a whole, you just got a whole show. And how much did you spend, Brian? $25.
Well, you can't even watch it on TV for $25.
$25, baby.
Okay, we in the 70s now. You done got up out of high school. Next stop, Houston Tillerson. Talk to me.
That was my spot. Going to Houston Tillerson. Actually, I was following your Uncle Richard. I was following him.
He watching.
Cause I went to his graduation. When he graduated from college, I went to his graduation. And so he took me around the campus. And I was like, I can do this. And so I ended up going there when I graduated. And so that, and I tell young people at my church, I tell young people to this day, going to college is the best time that you will ever have. And your parents still paying for you on one end, and you grown enough to do whatever you want to do on the other end.
You forgot 4 things. HBCU.
That's true. That's true. It was fun. It was just, oh my God, it was fun. Now, knowing your grandmother,
something else happened in 1970.
What else? You was born.
I was born. Talk to me. August 6th, 1970, 9:13 p.m. It was a Thursday.
We could not wait for you to come.
Yeah.
How about you your first pair of shoes? Because I couldn't wait to buy them. I mean, I was just excited. Your mama used to talk about me all the time. You like all these nieces and nephews? What's wrong with you? I love my nieces and nephews. I tell them
Indeed.
every chance I get.
Indeed.
I tell them every chance I get. And I guess the reason why is because my mother didn't get the chance to see her grandkids. You know, she saw you and
Trey.
Jerry and Andre. And your sisters.
Mm-hmm.
She saw y'all, but y'all was still young.
Mm-hmm.
She didn't get a chance to see you grow up. She didn't get a chance to see you go to high school. She didn't get a chance to see all of that. And so I just feel like I just need for y'all to know that I care about y'all. I still care.
Let me interrupt you right there. When you and Theo, Phyllis wrote in the chat room a few minutes ago, when you and Theo used to have them shirts, Theo and Riff.
Yeah.
When we lived at 1209 and you and Theo would show up, just know, to me, Bo and Phyllis, that was a national holiday. That was bigger than Christmas. That was bigger than Thanksgiving. That was bigger than everything. If my mama said, Rita and them coming over here, we was good all day because we wanted to stay up and hang out with Rita. So you showed us that more than anything. If didn't nobody in this world say, I love you, or show that made you feel special, you was like, no, if I can't get love nowhere else in this world, I can go to 1336 South Carolina and get me some love.
And that's exactly how I wanted y'all to feel.
Yes.
Every one of my nieces and nephews, I always wanted them to feel like that.
Yes.
I always wanted them to feel like that because y'all didn't get what a lot of kids got. A grandmother, a grandfather. You know what I'm saying? You didn't get a chance to say, you know what? I mean, you did get a chance to say it, but coming up.
Yeah.
You didn't get a chance to say that. Well, I'm going up to my grandmother. My mama say I can't do it. I'm going to ask my grandmother. You know, now, I was blessed. I got a chance to do that with my grandmother, who was your great-grandmother, but you didn't get a chance to do that.
Do you have your Facebook app open?
Huh?
You got your Facebook open?
Brian, don't start me with that.
No, because somebody said it's some Facebook feedback.
What they say?
They can hear it twice. Everything is coming twice.
Oh, I shouldn't say nothing?
No. Close your Facebook app. So.
I don't have nothing open.
Oh.
I don't have anything open.
Oh, okay. Well, proceed.
Oh, sorry.
No, it's cool. It's cool.
So, what I was saying was, I wanted y'all to just feel the kind of love that I felt. Because I had my mama and my daddy, and I had my mama's sisters and brother and mother and father. Mm-hmm. And so, that family just, they showed me a lot of love.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Oh, no.
I just wanted to pass that on.
Well, you most definitely did. Look. Let me show you how much I used to, like, I'm speaking for Bo and Phyllis, but I'm talking about this in particular. I remember when we lived at 3526 on Lake Park. I remember cutting the food. We was going to the beach. I remember cutting up. And maybe I shouldn't remember this. I remember you would never whoop me, but you used to keep a spoon in your purse. And if I act a fool, you make a fist. Pop! Your hand be numb for about 4 hours. Hey, you know Ant, my boy Ant just said he used to love coming over your house. You and Theo were always cool.
That's good. That's nice.
Yeah, but nah, Rita, you know what? The Pollards since you talk about the grandparents thing, even though your father passed away when I was 4, just know I got memories of Big Rich.
Do you really?
Yes, indeed. I remember he used to be in the back room when he got sick. I remember sitting in there with him joking. I remember the very last thing I did with your mother, because, your mama, she going home. I don't care if whatever ends at 50,000 o'clock, she going home. But one of the last things I remember from her, we still live at 1209. And your mama let me scramble her egg at age 6. I climbed up in the cabinet, got everything, and she let me. So now, Rita, we didn't get the full scope of grandparents, but between, like, I told a story last night about me, you, Bo, and Phyllis making a pallet at home base, and we was watching Creature Feature.
Okay, I was getting ready to say that.
Yes. And Richard came in, Richard used to be in and be out. He go in, get sharp, he right out the door. This night, we watching the movie, so we thinking, we ain't paying attention, so we thinking Richard then left. We were watching the Trilogy of Terror. Richard then got up under the bed and waited on us, because remember, the demon in the Trilogy of Terror was a little, and he get you up under the bed. Richard waited till we went to bed and grabbed us. That means Richard sat in that room for 45 minutes to an hour to get you. But yeah, but you know what? I'm telling you, Rita, those things, they are etched in my mind. The people who...
Let me tell you something about your granddaddy.
Okay.
There's one particular time, my mother was a beautician.
Right.
So she would do hair in the kitchen.
Okay.
She would go to work and do hair, and then, she got 6 sisters, and her girlfriends or whoever, she would, if they came over, could you do my hair? She'd do, she'd sit there, and she would talk in the kitchen with her sisters and stuff. Grown people talk, because we couldn't come in there, but we could go back and forth, get water, give our food or whatever, but we couldn't sit there. And so, my dad would sit in the living room, in the dining room with us. Now, my mama and her sisters and friends in the kitchen. My dad would sit and so he would sit in the dining room. And so people would come through the front door, because it's a Friday night or a Saturday night, and they know that the Yaya sisterhood, my mom and her 6 sisters, gonna be in the kitchen. And so now I got to go over here and see what they talking about. So there's a big crowd in the kitchen now. And so my daddy used to sit in the living room. Now you come through, in the dining room. You come through the front door, through the living room, the dining room, and then the kitchen, right?
Yep,
so
I remember.
In the dining room, and my daddy used to critique all my mama friends. So we sitting up there, and here come, just say, here come Jane Doe. Okay, she look all right. This daddy, she look all right. I wouldn't marry her, but she look all right. Next person come. Okay, she a little on the ugly side. I won't fool with her either. And then the third person come. Oh Lord, here comes the conductor on the Booger Bear train.
Hey.
Yes, he did.
Hey, my mama told me this story about your dad. It was when she separated from your brother-in-law. Wolf. Funny.
That's right.
She said, I guess they had they've been beefing or whatever. I don't know. She ain't going into detail what happened. She said, when I finally made up my mind I was leaving, she said every Saturday she come over and wash clothes at your mama's house.
Oh, she sure did.
So she
I
said,
remember exactly what you get ready to say. Go ahead.
and she said she had these 2 big bags of laundry. Wolf drop off Bo and Phyllis clothes and her clothes. He don't know he just moved her out.
That's right.
So she sat down with your daddy. Say, Daddy, I'm coming home. And he said, he looked at her and said, are you coming home forever? Or you just mad coming home? She said, no, I'm coming home forever. So she done washed all the clothes for him. Old Wolf come through. Come on, Annette, or Pumpy, or whatever you call her.
Annette.
Come on, Annette, let's go home. She said, I'm at home.
Yes, she did.
Because she said your dad used to go out on Friday. But this night, he just went and got whatever he was drinking and just sat there and watched TV. Didn't say a word. So come on, Annette, let's go. She said, I'm at home. You can go on. Come on, girl, stop playing. She said her daddy stood up and said, nigga. That's all he said.
All he
He
said.
said, I'm out. So, yeah.
All he said.
He's like,
I remember that day just as clear because I couldn't believe it myself. She washed, she folded up them clothes. Now, the only thing that I didn't catch that I should have was she was in the third bedroom, and that was right off the kitchen.
right.
Remember that?
That's the one your daddy was at.
Exactly. When she would wash and dry them clothes, she would fold them up and put them in the drawer. I didn't catch that part. I'm thinking she just washing and, going home later on that night. And she washed every bit of y'all clothes, put them in the drawer.
I wasn't there yet.
Well, no,
She didn't get it right yet.
Right. I mean, she washed those clothes, and I was waiting on when she told her husband, "I'm at home." I was like, "Oh my God." Oh my God. It's going down in a few minutes. It's
Yeah.
going down. But it didn't. Because Daddy stood up and said, that's it. I'm going to holler at you, man. And we didn't see him for a long time.
Yeah.
We did not see him for a long time.
You know what's funny? Speaking of 1655, one of my favorite memories is, Daddy Whitmore. He's a tough old dude. But me and him, we used to be cool. Everybody used to be scared of him. But I was too young to realize I was supposed to be scared of him. So we...
Did you remember he used to call you Brown?
Brown, that's exactly. He used to talk, because I would go outside light skinned. And I would come out dark because I stayed out as long as I could. He said, hey, Brownie, you're going to have to stop running in and out. You got to go upstairs with that. So my master made me some brownies. And he brought them to the back door. He said, these for Brownie. And me and your mama was standing at the back door. I said, nah, you can't be running in and out of here. Just give me the brownies. I said, hey, you said don't run in and out. Now, I'm like, hey, this is my grandma.
Get somewhere and sit down.
That reminded me of this one instance with BJ. I didn't realize Daddy Whitmore was mama's daddy. Your mama was the chief.
Right.
No matter who was around, it was Lord.
General.
She was the general. Yeah, that's her daddy, but she the chief. So I didn't realize this, and it made me think about BJ one time. We're going to talk about this on the show Wednesday. One day, my mama told BJ to do something, and I had told him, don't do it. So BJ looked at me. He was like, I can't do that. And she was like, don't worry about it. Do it. Tell him I said do it. And BJ said, but I'm going to get in trouble. She said, BJ, I'm your daddy mama. Rita, you should have seen the look on BJ's face. He came in the kitchen, he said, Grandma, your mama? I'm like, yeah. He looked at me like, that girl, you said
Right.
wasn't no word.
You done messed up now.
Right, he looked at me like, do you know how tight I am with this woman? He went and told Bria. He said, Bria, do you know Grandma is daddy mama? They looked at each other like, we can get that nigga a whooping. I swear to God. You could see them plotting to get me like, yeah, one more loud outburst around here. So, yeah, I remember that, man, okay.
Okay, since you remember so much, do you remember when you fell asleep in the street?
I don't know what you're talking about. Let's keep that moving. Look.
And all us looking for you.
Hey, you blame your nieces for that.
And you right down in what is that called right there? With the corner where the water go down?
The gutter.
The gutter?
I was
right
doing
there in the gutter, in the street, sleep?
I was doing research
I
on
know.
homelessness.
You was researching how many snores you can do in an hour. Because we was looking for you, scared that somebody done snatched you, about to cry. And we looked everywhere. Me, Judy, Lavera, Deborah, we all us looking for you. Because you know we couldn't go home without you.
The golden child.
And we got to the corner where the streets meet. And we're standing there looking like, where's Brian? Where's Brian? And mess around and look down. You was right there sleeping.
Hey,
And to this day, I thank the Lord that no car turned the corner and run you over.
look. In my defense, Theodora, Denise, and Phyllis Lynette were warned on several occasions. I'm sleepy. We started off in Montefiore. I said, I'm ready to go home. I'm sleepy. So we moved closer to Miss Payton, you know, where the baseball diamond at.
Moved away to the house.
Closer to the house. And they 5 more minutes. I'm sleepy. So we moved closer to Miss Page's house, to the little stand that was right in front of Miss Page's house. I'm sitting there. I'm sleepy. So we got to the curb. I sat down. I don't know what happened after that.
I know you don't, because you, evidently you fell over because you was not on the curb. You was in the street. All the car had to do was turn the corner and smash you. You would have been road pizza.
Hey, it's a gift. I was doing research for the junior homeless division.
I see. And you're taking that to the grave, ain't you?
Yeah, I was doing research on how to be a wino.
You're taking that right on to the grave.
Hey, but hey, I told them, I remember that day. I said, hey, I'm sleepy. And they just, Bo and Phyllis was like, I'm hanging out with Alice Page.
So scared. Oh my God. You just don't even know. We were so scared. Because we was like, oh, we cannot go home without this boy. Where is he at?
Hey,
Calling, we looking through the gangways, we looking up under porches and steps. Little did we know, you in the street, sleeping.
hey, that was pretty comfortable ground. That was Sealy Posturepedic
See, that's what I'm
concrete.
saying. That's the kind of neighborhood we
Yeah, it
lived
was.
in.
Yeah.
It wasn't a lot of mess going on.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't.
You took a nap. Because we looked for you for a long time. You took a good nap. And then nobody, wasn't no loud noises, wasn't nothing to wake you up.
Hey, watch this. Hey, you don't even. Bo and Phyllis may remember this, but you don't know about this. When we was living at 3526, another one of them days I was sleepy. Now you know your sister. Everything gotta be pristine and clean. You can't lay on nothing. You gotta take a bath, a shower. You got to get bleached or something. You're not laying in the bed without taking a shower.
That's true.
So we come from the west side, go up to 3526. I'm sleepy, mama. Can I just go to bed? And I used to play in the driveway, so I'm covered in soot. So I used to kick up the dirt, make mud pies. I don't know what.
Yeah, smell like a puppy.
Yeah, all that. Because I used to play with Granny Whitmore dogs all day.
I know.
Everybody was scared of them dogs but me. So we get home. I'm finished. I'm fried. I walk in the house. I'm like, can I just go to bed? I'm sleepy. This is when she finally after that, I could go to bed dirty. I scared. Hey, my mama died in 2010. She almost died in 1978. because I scared her to death. She say, no, go take a shower. You're not getting in my bed. You know how she was. So I used to be, this is before Johnson & Johnson, no tears. You put some of that stuff in your hair, your eyes still burning now. So I go take a bath. And my mama had showed me, put this much water in the tub. And then lay back in the tub and then rinse it out. It won't get in your eyes. But I'm so tired, I lay back in the tub and go to sleep. She walk in there to check on me. I'm in the bathtub like this, sleep. Oh my God, my baby didn't die! I wake up, huh? Get your ass in the bed. I'm like, hey, you should have let me go to bed. Should have let me go to bed. Hey, man, y'all told y'all, man, that sleep, man, is a gift. Hey, Rita, if I sit here like this too long, I'm going to sleep.
I know. We already know that. We already know.
Yeah.
Exactly. We already know.
Okay. The disco era come in. I remember now you done moved over 1336. You got that blue and white furniture. You ain't think I remember that, did you? In the front room. And y'all used to, you and Thee and my mom and them and burning them, y'all are the reason I ever went to a nightclub. Cause y'all used to get casket shop in that kitchen at 1336. And I used to be like, where are they going? And then, but
see, Brian, it was a method to that madness. You know you're going out, right? And anybody that's our age and went out can relate to this. You know you're going out, so you got to get motivated. So you're gonna take your bath or your shower or whatever. But soon as you realize it's almost time to get ready to go, you got to turn that music on.
yes.
You got to turn on your music. So now you getting dressed, and every once in a while you got to stop, listen to the music, do your dance, finish it up. Stop, listen to the music, put your clothes on. Stop, listen to the music, and then when you sharp and you ready to go, now you got to dance a few times, because now you're practicing what you're going to do when you get wherever you're going. That was a ritual.
I remember.
Everybody did it. Everybody did it.
Boy, cause I remember how it went. You and Theodis get the laughing in the kitchen. Cause y'all room was by the kitchen in the back.
Right.
It's laughing and joking in the kitchen. And I remember that one of the last times Theodis forgot, cause you had to wash and dry on the side, and you ain't dry your socks. Theodis went and bought some stockings. Jet black. He said, that's all right, I got these. And threw on some stockings. And then,
I'm so glad he's not in here.
oh yeah, I wouldn't have told that story when he was there. And then Margot and Larry would show up. And then my mama and Berna would show up. It was an event. And believe it or not, the very first club I snuck into was the club y'all used to go to, the Shig Rig House. I ain't gonna say the year because I don't want nobody to know. Well, my mama gone, so I could. But you never know. You never know what she.
I'm finna say she gonna reach down and slap.
Yeah. I don't want. She know now, but I ain't gonna tell nobody. But then
When
you
you
know.
when you had your uncle on the show, did he talk about all the shows he used to put on?
You know what? RWP Incorporated. Now,
There you go.
Hammer just called in. Him and Pudgy laughed for a second. He was on for maybe 45 seconds to a minute. But yeah, talk to me about that RWP Incorporated. Talk to me.
He thought he was somebody. He started RWP Incorporated because he wanted to have kind of like a venue where people could get off work. I think he would have these on Friday nights when people would get off work and they would have some place to go.
chicken.
and spaghetti that your mama made.
Yeah, I know, because I heard her cussing plenty nights.
Exactly. But he thought he was, he thought he was Don Cornelius or somebody. Now, the only difference was, Don Cornelius would just come on and say a few little things and let the stars do what they do or listen to the music or whatever. Your uncle thought he was Al Green. He used to break out in a song in a second. And me and your mama be like, really?
I remember.
Look, we do not know him.
Hey,
He would break out in a song, whatever he thought he could sing. He would sing Al Green. He would sing Larry Graham, One in a Million. He would sing that. I want you to get him on your show.
hey, I want to get him on.
Cause look, you gonna mess around and he gonna break out in a song.
I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think
Yes,
that's.
it will. Watch.
Hey, you know what was cool about hanging with Hammer? When Hammer used to take me to his crib, and I don't remember what he used to throw them. He used to have them parties all over the city. I don't remember if he was at 1212 yet, but he took me to. I was helping him set up the party. I couldn't have been no more than 11, 12. And, I'm just glad to hang out with Uncle Richard because I thought Richard was some type of superstar. Every time we walking down the street and people walking up to him and knowing him, "What's up, Dr. Magic?" And, hey, what's happening? And, he playing it cool. "Yeah, let's go, Brian." So this is when I went to the house and I just knew Richard was somebody. We go. I don't remember if he was living in. Was he ever living in? What was it? Rogers Park. Was he living in Rogers Park then?
Yeah.
Okay. This is when he was living in Rogers Park. So I helped him set up the party, and all the people started coming, and he was like, "I'll take you home in a minute." But the party picked up real quick, and all these people there, and then one of his partners came in the room with me, and we was just playing backgammon for like an hour. And I'm like, "Yeah, that was cool." And he said, "Okay, Brian, let's go. I'm gonna take you home." And we going down Lakeshore Drive. He said, "Hey man, did you enjoy yourself?" I said, "Yeah, it was cool. It was cool. I'm trying to play it cool, but I'm really like, damn, I was in there with the grown people." So he said, "Hey, you know who you were playing backgammon with?" I was like, "I don't know. Some grown nigga was bored.
Right, grown.
I don't know. I'm just glad I ain't had to sit there by myself." He said, right before I get out the ride, he go, "That was one of the Globetrotters. I'll talk to you later." I was like, "What? You had me in there with one of the Globetrotters, and I ain't get him to do no tricks?"
I ain't have nothing, right? I ain't have nothing to have him do nothing.
I was like,
Oh man.
yeah.
Oh, no, but those were some good days, though. Those were some good days.
Okay. Let's go into the dark ages.
Uh-oh.
The 80s. Just, your mama just passed, your daddy passed a few years ago. Chris just got in town, Skeety in town. And this drug thing started. And you got to get up off. How was it defined? You just spent your whole life on Hastings. How was it to move to 4210?
It was crazy. Because, I'm talking about the village on Hastings. And
Right.
Everybody knew everybody. And you already said you talked to Bonnie, your cousin Bonnie.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Bonnie lived 2 blocks from us. And,
Right.
it was like a village. So, it was always drugs, Brian.
Right.
It was always drugs. But when we was growing up, the people on drugs and the people selling drugs had respect. So they did not advertise it like it's advertised now.
Mm-hmm.
You really did not know who was a drug addict unless you hung with them. Back in the day. You didn't know who sold drugs show you how naive I was about drugs. When I first moved to 4210, I would come outside and I would hear rocks, 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 rocks. So I heard this for about a week. I'm on my way to work, coming home. As soon as I get out the car, rocks, 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 rocks. So I told Theo.
Well, actually, you heard Rocks Blows Park.
Well, that's true. No, I heard rocks, rocks, blows, blows. That's what I heard. But I heard rocks more than I heard anything else. Rocks, rocks, rocks. So this particular day, Theo was on the porch, and so he got off of work. I want to say like 3 o'clock. He's sitting on the porch. I don't get off of work until 4:35, like that. So I'm coming in and I hear rocks, rocks, rocks. And so I get to Theo on the porch. I say, Theo, what are they saying? And he say, they saying rocks, rocks. I say, rocks? I say, oh, come on, get in the car. He said, why? I said, because I'm finna go to Home Depot and buy me some bricks. Money off of rocks. I'm about to get paid on some bricks.
But you know what? I can attest to, in the clinical sense, your ignorance to that, because I used to say, Rita, you used to call me, Brian, they standing in front of my house selling drugs. I say, Rita, call the police. They gonna know it's me. Won't you come down here?
That's right. You come and call them, and go on back to your house.
So I would have to come all the way to your crib and say, hey, my man. Nah. Hey, one of the funniest drug incidents in the history of drug incidents happened with the neighbor, your next door neighbor. You know, me, Skeety, and Tyree on the porch. And, you know, we stand out there, argue about whatever, drink a couple beers or whatever. It was raining this day. And we just on the porch just chilling out. And we like, hey, man, go on down there with that. Yeah, all right. And it was the house next door to you it was a bunch of kids, and it was an old man stayed one other house down. Yeah. He used to always be in the window. He came to the door with a gun, and he said, you know, when people get killed, they put them teddy bears in the bottles there as a memorial. He said, hey, nigga, if you sell dope in front of my house one more time, it's going to be teddy bears and Hennessy bottles right where you standing tomorrow. He had this big gun in his hand. We was like, okay, Pops. Hey.
After you told me, don't be scared of the drug dealers, just tell them you don't want them in front of your house. Just tell them.
Yeah.
So this one particular day, I guess I just was fed up, and we had the alley was right.
Yeah, right there.
By our house.
Yeah, you had two alleys on the side and in the front.
Right, and so the drug dealer, he's standing right at my porch.
Right.
On the
side.
ground, and when somebody want to buy some drugs, he go right to where my drain pipe is and get the drugs and take it to the street and then come back and stand. So one particular day, I told him, I said, you mean to tell me you gonna stand here and sell drugs in my face? And I said it loud. I said, you standing out here selling drugs in my damn face? Boy, I just
4210 was something else.
But I did because of your uncle. A whole bunch of drug dealers used to say, we ain't gonna stand here. We already know.
Yeah.
We ain't gonna stand here. We gonna move. We just gonna move. And then they used to say, like I used to have to go to work. Periodically, I would have to be at work at 7 o'clock in the morning. So that means I was on the bus, and so that means I have to leave the house 5:30 or 6, and it's still dark outside. And the drug dealers used to tell me, don't worry about it. Go walk down there to the, because the bus stop was 3 blocks away.
Yeah.
No, just keep walking straight. Just go and walk. Nobody will not touch you, I promise you.
Yeah.
Nobody will not bother you. Because we already told them. And then after that, I didn't make it no better. Look, like your sisters them say, the mission part of me, from taking care of so many folks in the house, I started sending them sandwiches.
Yeah, I remember. You started feeding the drug dealers.
Brian, and you know what? Brian, in my mind, they was somebody else's kids.
Mm-hmm.
They was, and I would want somebody to feed my child. That's what was in my mind. And
I remember that.
Everybody used to laugh at me. You mean to tell me you feeding the drug dealers? I said, they somebody else's kids too.
Yeah. I remember that.
So, I mean.
Feeding the crack, feeding the dope man. But you know what? That's what I be telling my man Rita Kev, because he's from Louisiana. Real good brother. And, he got a lot of questions about Chicago. And I was like, man, Chicago is chaotic. It's crazy. You might get a truck blow up on this corner and something else, and it's a block party on the next corner. I say, but it was structured, gang banging, and chaos. You could go outside, and like you said, wasn't nobody kids getting hurt. And like you said, you out here cussing out these drug dealers, and then send them a plate. You know what?
Just looking back at that was crazy. That was crazy.
But you know what, Rita? No, it wasn't. You know what? You know what? That shows your faith, if you ask me, because a lot of people, you know what that is? That's his dictionary definition of hate the sin, not the sinner.
Okay.
Because you didn't know the streets, and you didn't know the code, but what you did, understand, if somebody would have ran up on you, those very dudes who you cussed out every day for standing in front of your house, they would have beat that joker to sleep. Just know those dudes, because when I would pull up, my man, we know, man, we know the lady. That's what they would say, the lady. We know.
I've been the clown before you come up.
Yeah. And Chris, talk to Chris, because Chris, I don't want to say the dude's name, because, the man is always watching. But Chris knew the dude who was in control. And dude told, he said, hey, man, ain't nobody going to mess with your mama. And that was it. And that's what I tell people all the time. It's just, when you're from the west side of Chicago, you know everybody. The west side is gigantic and it's small at the same time.
At the same time, you're right.
And people hear about our city and they see the violence on the news, but y'all don't see these block parties. Y'all don't see Margot granddaughter graduate and everybody from the 1600 blocks to 1700 block, the 14th Street, 14th place in Margot backyard. You ain't seen somebody in 30 years, and like my man D Great, he just got in the chat room. They don't understand in Chicago, all you have to do is show up with somebody that you know.
That's true. And you're welcome just like if they knew you.
Right. And so all the chaos, it's some pure madness that's going on in Chicago. Like, you know what I want you to talk about? people outside of Chicago, they think of us as like this cosmopolitan environment. Talk about that racism in Chicago for me.
You know, look, right? You know where we was. Then 3 blocks down, Hispanic. 3 blocks south, Hispanic. Right? 18th Street,
Mm-hmm.
Hispanic. 3 blocks north was what?
Italians. They had the gypsies over there by 1209 on.
Right. Okay. So.
Well, if that's politically correct, I don't. You know, you might not be able to say nothing now.
You're not saying it out. You're not saying it out of malice or whatever. So, but it's still like that now. It's so segregated. It's so segregated. It was just that everybody knew where they should have been.
Mm-hmm.
The people, the Hispanics on 18th Street knew to stay on 18th Street.
Mm-hmm.
We knew to stay in the center. The Italians knew to stay where they was at. And we knew not to go over there at a certain time. We knew not to go that way at a certain time. It was just, that's the way it was.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't know when it
Yeah.
started or whatever, but that's the way it was. When we
Yeah.
were growing up, we knew, you know. And just like it is now, we could spend our money with everybody. They took our money.
But don't get
But
comfortable.
after a certain time, they didn't allow you in their neighborhood.
Right?
But in the daytime, they took that money.
Mm-hmm.
And they wouldn't say anything mean to you. They took your money. But after a certain time, you knew not to go in that neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I guess after you stopped spending money or whatever.
No, when it got dark, because remember.
That's what I'm saying. But you stopped spending money for that day.
Yeah, we got enough.
Don't come back, right?
Don't come back to the light.
tomorrow morning.
Yeah, because you know, a lot of people think Chicago, like I said, they think it's this cosmopolitan place, and they think everybody is kumbaya. And I was telling Kev, like, nah, man. And what a mayor of the city, the 2 most dominant mayors in the history of this city, they come from a neighborhood called Bridgeport. And if the sun hit the ground when you was out that part of town, your mama had
Burnt
to,
like a vampire.
yeah, you
You was burnt up like a vampire. That's
Yeah.
right.
hey, it was a sundown part of town.
That's right.
You was gonna introduce you to the largest bricks. They was gonna go to Home Depot.
Yeah, I was ready to say they was buying their bricks from Home Depot.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's still like that.
Mm-hmm.
It just depends on where you go. I mean, it's a part of Chicago that you could go into and you're still here. You better get out of our neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
What you doing tonight? You know, you still hear that.
Mm-hmm.
In
Mm-hmm.
2022, you'll still hear that.
Yeah.
You know, it just depends on where you go.
Yeah, and you're right. It was crazy then. It's crazy now, and you know, it's just madness at all times. And how was it? You know, you got you on the notorious West Side of Chicago. How, you know, because when did this whole West Side, South Side thing start? Because that's something I don't even know.
I think it's been that way all the time.
Okay.
Because you just like okay, I live on the west side.
Okay.
And if I look at the news, I hear, you know, so much is happening on 63rd Street, 87th Street, you know,
79.
79th Street. I hear, and so in my mind, it is bad on the south side.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not paying attention to what's happening on Keeler, what's happening on Costner, what's happening on Laramie. I'm not paying attention to that because that's where I live. So I think the same thing happens to the people from the south side. They hear what's happening on Laramie. They hear what's happening on Costner, you know,
Keeler.
5900 West and 4200 West. They hearing what's happening
Yes, I'm familiar with that.
They started out. They came from Arkansas, Mississippi, Georgia, Georgia, everywhere. They came from the South and went to the West Side. And they lived on the West Side until they saved their money or whatever. And they thought going to the South Side was a step up. And it probably was at that time. It probably was. Because if I come from the South and I live with you and your mother, then my kids live with you and your mother, and then I'm allowed to save enough money and I can move to the South Side, that is a step up for me.
Exactly. Okay.
So I think if you talk to a lot of Southsiders, their parents or their grandparents probably started off in Chicago on the West Side and moved to the South Side, and they don't know anything about the South Side because they wasn't born when the parents moved.
Yeah. Yeah, like I don't remember Bo and Phyllis and my mama living on 18th Street, but
See,
they
go.
did.
Exactly.
Speaking of 18th Street, your other brother-in-law, I heard this story that he almost had an anxiety attack because Bo and Phyllis got locked in his bathroom.
See, Brian, you just start stuff. You just start stuff.
My father.
He thought he was gonna get killed. Now he had an anxiety attack. He thought his life was ending. If the kids wouldn't have got out, he thought his life was ending. That's how that went. But hold on, I want to talk about your dad.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Tell me a little bit about Whams.
Mohammed Williams. Akbar. Now, don't get me wrong, Brian. Your dad he was nice. He was a nice man. But he got on my nerves because he talked my sister into just eating turkey. No pork. And your mama could fry some pork chops, baby. Put them pots on, baby. And I messed around and went over her house one day. And so she was like, you want some breakfast? Because she knows she could cook that breakfast. She can cook that breakfast. She going to have that. Them grits and eggs. She going to have some biscuits. She going to have some sausage and bacon. Not one or the other. She going to have some sausage and bacon. We big time. And then she going to pour you a glass of juice. We big time. So we going over there and we going to eat. So I say, what you cooking? So she gave me the lineup. So I said, messed around and got that plate. I said, girl, this ain't no sausage. I said, what is this? She said, well, we don't eat pork over here. I say, what? Where you get that from? You weren't born like that. Where you get it? Then she said, well, and I automatically knew. A man don't eat no pork. Which was your daddy. And I was through with him right then. That was the end of me and Johnny. Akbar Hussein. I said, how you gonna tell my sister what to cook, man? How you gonna do that? And she just, we don't eat no pork no more. What? And then, after, he passed away, and, she started her life over again, but she back with us. That's Brian Pork Chops, baby.
Hey,
And them spices rolling, baby.
hey, I almost got beat to death about, because, you your little boy, you think you big time when you can go up to Tony's by yourself.
Right.
So we were at the fort. We upstairs. My mom finna cook breakfast. And it was a late breakfast too, cause Tony's then open about 9:30.
So she was making brunch.
Yeah, it was pretty much brunch. But she said, "I'm gonna cook this breakfast," And she said, "This is when I might have helped you out," cause she said, "Go up there and get the beef Parker House." Cause if you was black, you was eating Parker House sausage. She said, get the beef Parker House. I go up there. Parker House. I don't know what beef is. I know I want some sausage. This started a trend with me and my mama. Read the label. Because I never used to read the label. Parker House sausage is all I needed to see. I grabbed 2 of them. Back to, she cussed me out. It go on for about 4 or 5 years. We get up to 1442. We sitting in the house. She said, hey, you want some floats? Because, you know, she'll create something.
Right, she made Burger King, she made McDonald's, she made anything. Anything you wanted,
she made it. She said, you want some floats? Yeah. Rita, this is about 83. I jump up, run down to the store, go get a 2-liter root beer. She got everything set up. Bam! Diet root beer.
I knew you was going to say that.
Rita, she made me drink that 2-liter of root beer. She said, go get another one. And then, and I was finna take it back. She said, no, go get another one. I'll go get the other root beer, bring it back, make sure the one died. She said, now sit your ass here and drink it. She made me drink a whole 2-liter of root beer. I'm still burping. I ain't had a root beer since.
I know she did.
I never messed that up again.
I know she did. Man, let me tell you something. Your mama used to make me so mad doing that same stuff to me and my brother. She used to make me so mad. So this one time I said, I'm sick of you. I said, I'm just sick of you. And we stopped fighting. And she was like, I promise you don't want none of me. Come on. It's me. Come on. That girl beat the brakes off of me. I was so tired when I got through fighting her. She beat the brakes off of me. And I was like, okay, I'm going to do whatever you say.
You won.
Okay. If she would have been anybody else, I would have been like, my name is Toby.
Oh my God.
I had enough.
Oh my God.
That girl beat the brakes off of me. So I totally understand what you're talking about.
Yeah.
She would make you do something and didn't have no problem with jacking you up if you didn't do it.
Yeah.
She didn't have a problem with it. But she got that from her mama.
Yeah.
Because her mama was just like that.
Yeah. Trust me, I remember. I'm still mad at my man Clarence Dabney. He threw my coat in the toilet and I ain't fight him. And your mom, and she cooked me and took me back up to the school and almost made me jump on Clarence. And Clarence lucky she ain't say, hey, fight that nigga. She went and got Richard. Teach him how to fight. All weekend. He was like, let me see you throw. I'll never forget. Let me see you throw a punch. I had never had a fight. But after that, it was like, hey, I'm fighting. Hey, I'm not getting whooped no more. No more, nigga. I've been fighting since. Yeah. You know what, Rita? Thank you. It has been. Hey, by the way, for somebody who ain't had nothing to say.
You know what? I don't want to hear.
You ain't had nothing to say for 1 hour, 53 minutes, and 35 seconds. Thought you ain't had nothing to say. But,
I'm happy to be on here. This is really cool.
Thank you.
This is really cool. I'm proud of you. This is really cool.
Thank you. And, I want to thank you, and I want to take it up on myself with my sisters, and we want to thank you for all the awesome memories. Brookfield Zoo, dancing, hugs and kisses, picnics, Thanksgivings at your house. Believe it or not, Rita, I love hip hop music. Soul music is your music, and then hip hop moved in right after soul. You are the reason I love music. Do you know I don't like no music between like 79, 78, and until hip hop music took over. I don't like none of that music. The reason I don't like that music is because I could sit at home base and you would play the Spinners, you would play Al Green, you would play you and my mama would play Marvin Gaye. And I'm gonna tell you a Marvin Gaye story before I let you go. And like you said, you play music. What's the boy's name? The Ohio Players. You always play music with a band. I do not like R&B. That's my daddy family, boy. That's your nephew,
Who?
Nicky's son.
Uh-oh.
But I don't like music, synthesized music, because of you. Because I can't stand it. Because you used to play that music loud, and you used to play the Stevie Wonder, and you could feel that music. And I can't feel that 80s music. I like Al Hudson, I like One Way, but you can't feel it. And that's why I like hip hop, because we took that music that I grew up on, the Temptations and all that, and we poured it into our music. And that's why I was telling you, it's still people like Solange, Erykah Badu, and so forth and so on. It's a million of them out there, but what it is the powers that, Africana studies got these two things: the governance structure and the social structure, which is America, and the governance structure. This is a governance structure conversation. It's us talking to us about us. The social structure is what they put out there for us and what we supposed to be talking about. And you made it so the governance structure, you and Richard, and of course our mother, but you and that whole community, but really you and Richard was like way up here, but he never treated us like he was way up here. He never came off like he was larger than life. And you made us feel like, between you and my mama, I tell people, I tell this, I never really gave you credit until this very moment. But some people think I'm arrogant. Some people think I'm a know-it-all. Some people think I can't be stopped. And I'm going to tell you this right now. You, my mama, and Richard are the reasons I feel that way. Because you know how, and they don't mean anything bad. Some people, parents, boy, sit your you stupid. Stop being stupid. Y'all used to say, boy, you ain't stupid. Why ain't you trying? I can remember, and I did it to BJ, and it worked. And we're going to talk about that too. And y'all was tough. And you know, when Bornfield and wrote that runaway letter and went to sleep, and and I told Phyllis, and Phyllis snitched on me. I told Phyllis, that's all right. I ain't getting no more whoopings. When I get big, I'm gonna get rich, and I'm just gonna send her money. She ain't got nothing to say to me. All right, but y'all made us feel like we walked on water. I'm telling you, Rita.
You know what? Your grandmother and her sisters felt the same way. So what they taught us, my age and older, was you somebody.
Yes.
You somebody. Even if we didn't even think it, you somebody. You not stupid. You not ignorant. You not, all of the negativity. You not that.
Mm-hmm.
So don't come up in here acting like that.
Yes. Another fond memory of your mom. I've been silly my whole life. And I'm at the headquarters. I'm in the front room where the TV was. She in the kitchen cooking something. I don't know. It's probably lunch. Because I think I was like Head Start kindergarten. I remember you used to come home half the day. So I'm watching Green Acres and all that, and the Three Stooges came on.
Uh-oh.
And Curly said, knock, knock, knock. I'm scared saying it now. And I said, knock, knock.
That last knock.
That last knock. She yelled from the kitchen, don't be doing that damn knock, knock. I was like, what? I was just, they think black people stupid already. We don't need to be knock knocking.
She wouldn't even let us. That same woman wouldn't even let us read comic books.
Yeah, she was funny.
And she would say stuff like, "You start singing, you know, like
Oh yeah.
you start singing. You better be able to spell every word you sing.
yeah, I remember that. You know
If
your.
you can't spell what you singing, you better shut the hell up."
Yep. Yeah. I remember that. But yeah, Rita, you and Richard, of course our mama, our mama made us feel like, my mama, like, what I said this 2 days ago. I said, I'm lazy, and it's a product of my mama being so great. And they like, what? I was like, I never knew how hard she was working. So it looked like it's easy.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, well, I'll just do it. I still remember them albums she drew, them bubbles she drew on the wall. I remember all that, Rita. I'm telling you. And I want to thank you, though. I want to thank you for all the Thanksgivings. I want to thank you for all, like you said, the cookouts, the picnics, the Brookfield Zoo. I remember when Chris was too fat for the strollers. I remember all that.
Yeah, he broke the stroller.
Yep. I remember all that. And it's just, it made life way easier. Y'all used to be on us like you wouldn't believe. But I remember, and then I remember being at work, and it was this supervisor by the name of Mike Miller. Everybody in the joint hated him, and he was a clown, and he used to get in everybody's face. And one day he pulled me to the side. He said, "Hey man, you must really hate me." I say, "What?" And he said, everybody, they get intimidated by me, and they don't like me, and you don't even pay attention to me. And Rita, I didn't mean to do this. I didn't mean to say this to this man. I was like, my mama tougher than you.
Oh.
And I was like, and I literally I said, my mama tougher than you, and you can't even hit me. And kept walking. and
He said, well, okay then.
So yeah, I want to thank you, and I know Bo and Phyllis, they watch it, and they feel exactly. I'm telling you, when Rita and TEODB came over, I still remember that picture between the trees.
Ooh, that was that.
Malcolm X, yeah.
That was at Houston, Tennessee.
Yeah. So yeah, I really, it's been a pleasure being
But
your
that's
nephew.
the way, but that's the same way I feel about my mama's sisters.
Yeah.
I feel the same way about them. Every one of them, I feel the same way about them.
Hey, got one more funny story. With Bria. Bria for a long time thought your name was Lil Rita.
Yeah.
I remember Bria figured out the way to hang out with Grandma was to go to Rita's house. Because she hang with me. I'm thinking she think I'm cool. But she really, you finna go like, hey, Nikki, I'm finna go down to Rita's house, watch the game with Thee. So Bria go, that's where Grandma be all the time. Can I go? Yeah, you can go. Come on. I say, hey, Grandma not gonna be there though. She like, whatever. Every time we go down there, Grandma down there. I know how this works. So me and Bria jump in the car. We come on down to your house. She sit there for about 20 minutes. Where Rita at? I say, she not here. Well, where Grandma? She not here either. So she go sit down about 15 more minutes. It's Rita and Grandma coming. I say, Rita be here in a little while, but grandma not coming. Whatever. You know, she like, yeah, okay, homie.
I still don't believe.
So after about an hour, me and Thea watched the game, and she like, now she restless. But you show up. And she looking like, well, when is grandma getting out the
Right,
car?
I was ready to say it. Half of them here.
Right, okay, I knew it was ready. So Bria looked at me like, now she realized, oh, he wasn't lying. Grandma is not coming. She looked up at me and said, you ready to go yet? And you leaned over and said, Brian, don't be offended. I said, what? I thought Bria was mute. I never heard her talk. I said, what?
You ain't never say nothing.
She never said anything. She was like, you ready to go? I was like, I guess we ready to go. And he was like, she talk?
She can talk.
Right. I was like, yeah. She get on the road to this
But
day.
I'm so happy to be on your show. This is so cool.
Thank you. I'm glad
This is
you
so
came.
cool. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you. And
I am so proud of you.
all right, let me.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And if you ever come up with anything else you want to talk about, get your gang on here. That's what you do. You get Judy, you get Margot, you get Burn on here, and we're gonna have a funky good time.
I'll let you know. I would definitely do that, and I'll let you know.
Okay. Let me close out. Hey man, I want to let everybody know I appreciate you. Everybody in the chat room, everybody on Facebook, everybody on Twitter, everybody on Twitch. And please go to subscribe to Built for This Network on Spreaker.com. And if you get a chance, go to www.theendofthebench.com. www.theendofthebench.com. You can also catch this streaming live on theendofthebench.com, or you can check it out anytime you want. This is a podcast, like I said. You go look up Built for This Network, iHeartRadio, Spreaker.com, YouTube, Amazon Podcast, Podcast Addict, Deezer, and a host of other podcasts. Wherever you download your podcast, please hit the like button, hit the share button, hit the subscribe button, hit the all button, hit the all bell. That's a notification bell. That way I ain't got to send this to you. You get it on your own. And remember, as usual, I want to salute the people who give me inspiration to do what I do. Y'all already know that. It's the Ghetto Boys, Tariq Nasheed, Nori, Talib Kweli, Ray Grady, Zoe Williams, Corey Holcomb, Craig Smith, Al Sharpton, Heather B, Clay Kane, my favorite, Larry Daniel Favors, Dr. Greg Carr, one of the smartest human beings you'll ever come in contact with, the Queen Mother Karen Hunter, and the Elder, the Black Eagle, Joe Madison. Again, please, everybody, I need everybody to do this. Download the 5 call apps. The 5 call apps. It allows you to get in contact with your state representatives and your senators. That way you can complain about what's going on in your community, and don't complain to your friends. Complain to the people who get paid to hear those complaints. If you just feel like complaining, it's a phone number you can reach. And then I need you to download the Politicking app. The Politicking app lets you know who you are going to vote for, what they voted for, if they're voting against your best interest or whatever. The Politicking app. And Blap, that's another app, Blap. No matter where you are on the planet Earth, Blap is a Black-created, Black-owned, Black-funded app that you can shop for anything you want. A book in your community from a Black-owned person. Food in your community from a Black-owned from Black-owned people. Whatever you want, it'll be Black-owned wherever you are on Earth. It is Blap. It's spelled phonetically, B-L-A-P, Black app. I want to thank you guys for tuning in. I will be back. Forecast won't be on Monday. And it's Valentine's Day. Y'all know y'all going to tune in no way. So, what happened? Y'all know what's going to happen. I don't hear that nonsense. And Tuesday, I'll be back with the Black Power series, where I'm going to be talking about this. This is one of the things I'm going to talk about this Tuesday. We're going to talk about stay in your place aggression. We get stay in your place aggression. You want to know what that is? Tune in Tuesday. And white mediocrity. It sounds like an insult, but white people create standards for us to live up to, and they don't live up to them. You hear things like affirmative action. You move into a space and they say affirmative action, But more than 40% of the people who are at Harvard University are their own legacies. That don't mean they didn't pass a test, they didn't get through an entrance exam, and they don't have the grades, but they're there. That's affirmative action. We're gonna talk about that amongst other things. I need you to continue to do what I ask you to do every week, and that's dream those dreams and man up and woman up and live those dreams, because life without dreams flows in black and white. Life with dreams flows in technicolor and surround sound, and you already know. If I owe you something, I ain't got it. And if you need it, get it from God.
We lust for that cheese, we lose sleep, dreams of that cream, we killing our teams, they down for this American dream, them government schemes, they turning us to hustlers and fiends, we hustling trees, them politicians smuggling green, chasing that cheese, got everybody stressed in the streets, pardon me for speaking freely, let it breathe, evangelists preach the congregations out of their seats, they writing them checks for tithes now, as people can't eat, she stripping for change for school, now she giving them brain, she used to that loot, she earning, now she giving them strain, he new to this game, but hungry, so he cooking his cane, he getting that paper, but then they gave him tools to the brain, there's rules to this game, but hustlers never hustle for fame, the spirit of greed is grimy, so we struggle to change, they put us in chains and take away our African names, but if we submissive and don't resist, then who do we blame? It's all a game, man, these Europeans thinking they claim, and you a victim of their game plan, you thinking they ain't, you thinking they saints, remember all them niggas they hang, killed our women and our children, all our leaders is slain, they gave us Obama, but that nigga was hoping for change, but Zimmerman is killing niggas, said he free, shit is crazy, babies having these babies and getting checked, but keep the child from they pop to rip his heart out his chest, our rappers was leaders and now they in the booth and the dress, spitting bullshit and making more, but giving us less, they taking our sound and changing ours, dumbing it down, they taking our jobs and homes and they shutting us out, they taking our kids because it ain't a man in the house, they locking us down, but soon they gon' be wiping us out, they told our women they was too independent to need a man, told our brother he was too insignificant to advance, it's all a game, man, these Europeans staking they claim, and you a victim of their game plan, you thinking they ain't, you thinking they saints, remember all them niggas they hang, killed our women and our children, all our leaders is slain, it's all a game,
We are built for this network, for the strong, not the weak.